About the number, Part 2. For an update, I was absolutely drained today. Last night, after yet another hour of intense baseball practice, I decided to go to the gym to continue with my workout regimen. Unfortunately, I took pre-lift at 10:15. I was up until 3:30 a.m., then had to wake up for work at 6:30 a.m. Lesson learned. I'm tired. There will be no baseball tonight. I've been burning both ends of the candle too much. Anyhow, today she emailed me to see if I wanted to get coffee so we could talk. I replied that tonight's just not a good night for that. I have no idea what she wants to say. This is after her first IC session. It was empowering to say no. I was going to maybe swing by a bookstore and pick up No More Nice Guy on my way home, but I might have to wait for that. I've also thought of contacting OM, but I just know he won't talk or respond. Even if he did, it would probably be a load of BS. She still works at the same place with him. Yes, I've considered the poly. Yes, I didn't force her to leave, as I wasn't aware of all this infidelity stuff at the time. I was following the recommendations of our Don't Play Old Tapes and Move Forward counselor. We're still doing the space thing. I'm still in my room, she's in hers, ours. Right as I was typing this, my 15-year-old came in and asked why I wasn't sleeping with my wife. I gave him a lame excuse. Maybe I should tell him the truth, but I don't want to mess him up during baseball tryouts this week. I've reached out to a male counselor and we're working on scheduling a time for me to get in. My wife has emailed me a few times, explaining that her intention isn't to hurt me or the family. She has her second counseling session tomorrow. Vegas trip is still on for next week. That should be interesting. I'm definitely not being clingy or needy. I'm living my life and doing what I want to do. Bought myself some clothes, working out, etc. I've really come to accept that there is a realistic chance that things may be over. Ultimately, we both caused harm in our marriage. I think that her EA, possible PA, still lies deep within my subconscious. That may have been acted upon in wrong ways, like me putting her on a pedestal and trying to do too many nice things, etc. She feels pressured and smothered, like there are strings attached. We didn't talk right after her first session. She feels most safe communicating over email so she can get her thoughts out clearly without getting angry. She has emailed me a couple times. She said she appreciates the space and thinks I'm calmer and more confident as well. She's trying to sort through her feelings. As to a timeline, she says for now she just wants to get through this week, as our son has baseball tryouts, and then we go on our family trip in a week. I'm figuring we should come to some sort of resolution by the time we go on the trip. It's been just over 2 weeks this has been going on, so in a 15-year marriage that really isn't that much time. I haven't demanded anything and have just been taking care of myself. I think I will ask her to sleep in the guest room. The bed sucks. My back is starting to get sore. Well, I'm in Vegas, so things are good at the moment. This trip has been a blast. No major updates. Things seem to be good with us for now. I will begin IC when I get back home. She's had 2 sessions so far. We haven't had any super serious discussions, but things seem well. As for her old EA, possible PA, from 3 years ago, that hasn't been brought up. I definitely don't think it's still going on. I'm going to get things off my chest in IC and see what this new male counselor has to say. I don't exactly know if OM ever got married or not. She probably realized what a piece of crap he is and got out. I've tried to look on the web but have found nothing. I guess my whole thought on that is that I don't want any interaction with him, unless it's to tell him to F off. If I communicate with him at this point, 3 years later, I'm not so sure how effective it would be. Now if I find out anything is currently going on, which I doubt, that's a different story. I'm going to have a talk with her soon, like tomorrow. We clearly have unresolved issues that need to be discussed. It's so strange right now. It's like the day-to-day stuff is fine but the relationship is strained. Like we are roommates, which ironically, she complained about way back in 2011 when we did the MC. By the way, the IC didn't pan out. This guy only accepted cash and not insurance. That's no excuse. I need to find someone else. I've been working 10-hour days and I've been super busy. Again, no excuse. And to those who complained about the lack of VAR, I highly doubt anything would show up on it at this point. Of her close friends, there is only one that she would tell. She hasn't talked to her since January. I know her and what would work and what wouldn't. I'm being much more alpha, working out and running, reading and rereading different stuff, etc. She's not showing affection. I'm not sure how this will pan out, but I now realize that I'm strong enough to get through anything, even if it's on my own. I believe she is going through a serious depression at the moment. I'm not sure what the root of the depression. Perhaps her grandpa's passing, maybe it's clinical, hormonal, maybe it's guilt, however I somewhat doubt that. All I do know is that I won't be able to go on like this indefinitely. When we got married, I vowed to love her in sickness and in health. It appears she's sick at the moment. We had a conversation a couple weeks ago and that seems to have turned things in a positive direction. She feels like she has sacrificed herself for the happiness of everyone else in both our direct family and her family. I explained my perspective and that I've done the same, and part of being married is making sacrifices. I haven't brought up the old EA, possible PA, as it's been nearly 4 years since D-Day. Things are surprisingly well at the moment. I've learned a lot about myself and realized that I'm responsible for my own happiness. Nothing is guaranteed in life. Our marriage isn't perfect. People change. Feelings change. If the worst-case scenario arises, I'll survive and eventually thrive. Love is a choice. So, that's where I'm at right now, in my normal scatterbrained fashion. I'm back and the news isn't good. I thought things were back on track, sort of anyways. Today I did a spotlight search on my wife's iPhone. Found an email from April of 2014, almost 3 years after D-Day #1. He said, "I had a tough time not wanting or trying to kiss you today." Her response was, "You just told me the real reason we're friends." So, needless to say, I was extremely irate. She was outside helping a female neighbor with her plants and eventually came in. I had a look of disgust and said, "We need to talk." I told her I found the message and said that obviously I've been betrayed yet again. She said she understands and that yes, we do need to talk. She doesn't want to be married. I pretty much said, "You clearly cheated on me," to which she still denies. "Yes, I flirted, but I could never do that to you." Blah blah blah. She said she's been going to counseling because she's trying to figure out how to tell me without hurting me. She says there's too much resentment. I'm like, yep, okay, leave. She's at her mom's and I'm at home with my 12-year-old boy. The older 16-year-old boy is sleeping at a friend's. Well, the crap has officially hit the fan. I'm trying to stay busy and positive, but it's real tough. This happened 3 hours ago. It turns out that I, like many before, am now the poster boy for rug sweeping. Fortunately, she is not the vindictive type, so I'm hoping that things will go smoothly. We didn't have a lot of time to talk, but she actually had the nerve to be angry that I looked at her phone. Unbelievable. She also said that in order to continue our marriage, we would need to break down all the walls of resentment and start from square one. I'm in shock right now. I know what I need to do: stay healthy, focus on myself, try to keep busy and remain cool. Now it's just a matter of doing it. It's like I can't watch TV, can't eat, can't do anything. What a brazen, manipulative liar. I can't believe after all we've been through, it comes to this. I've devoted 20 years into my relationship with this woman. He's not married. She admitted to still talking to him and that he likes her. Well, obviously, if she was a decent person who followed through with her promise of NC, he would clearly not like her. She hasn't been able to work on our marriage when she's still involved with the OM. Oh yeah, she also mentioned that she no longer likes sleeping with me. Nice. I again asked if she cheated ever and she still says never. It's like, seriously. Then you're a tease. Why would you lead him on like that? Yeah, right. Well, I'm pretty much going to have to miss work today as I haven't slept a wink. I just got my first 40 minutes of sleep, but I was having a bad dream about this crud and woke up. It's going to be a long and challenging journey. I'm going to spend this precious day off trying to get into a therapist for IC. I'm fairly certain it's over. Not only were the 3 years from 2008 to 2011, D-Day 1, a lie, but I'm starting to feel like the 4 years between 11 and now are also a lie. It would take a lot for me to want to continue with her, even though the stakes are high with the kids, the house, etc. It was a quick conversation before she headed to her mom's for the night. Basically, she doesn't want to be married. There is too much resentment on both sides. She doesn't think I'll ever be happy. She's not happy. She certainly didn't swing on the side of wanting to work it out, but started saying we would have to start at square one and she doesn't think she's strong enough, etc. She indicated that the has nothing to do with her distance from me. My opinion is that we didn't heal because we rug swept, based on the counselors don't play old tapes method. I had bad days and she felt guilty and responsible for my happiness. Meanwhile, behind my back for who knows how long, she's talking to this idiot. It's downright disturbing. I tried to trust and work on myself. It didn't turn out so well. This was predicted by posters on previous pages. I didn't disagree with them, but hoped in time trust would be built, we would meet each other's needs and things would be good. God, I'm just dreading what's ahead. Telling my parents and friends, the kids, obviously not about the nature of the problem, dealing with the financial implication, trying to build myself up to be confident, etc. I feel like I'll never trust again. Then there's the legal, custodial part of the equation. I know it's been done by many before me and I'll get through it, just not exactly looking forward to it. I also want to message OM and tell him off, but what's the point? The IA may have fizzled a couple times, but overall, it ultimately never died. She didn't comply and I let her because I agreed to follow the counselor's advice. As far as the PIA thing, she adamantly denies it every time it has come up, but then again this is someone who can apparently lie like it's no big deal. I think she would never admit it and wants to take it to her grave. Since I only had 40 minutes of sleep, I didn't have a chance to see a lawyer yet today, but I did go to the doctor and now I'm sitting in the lobby of IC. Need to get my head straight. Update, the IC was phenomenal. Gave me great advice and perspective. Felt good to talk to someone face to face. She recommended for me to not talk unless logistics. Just ask my wife to pack up and leave. No use separating. We haven't even had a marriage for years, etc. Her mom lives 5 miles away. My folks live 200 miles away. She's the one who didn't want to work on the marriage. Why should I have to leave, etc. Also, my buddy who recently got divorced contacted his lawyer for me. I guess she's phenomenal and reasonably priced. Getting that ball rolling. I figure there is a 95% chance of D right now. In the end, my wife will realize what she lost. She not only cheated on me, but the entire family. Well, I think I'm going to try to go to work today. My good buddy wants to go for a beer after work tonight. I haven't told my folks yet. They're going to take it hard. We both have great and deep relationships with each other's families. That's going to be tough. Then there's all my friends. I make a decent living, but by no means am I rich. One of my best friends is a doctor who is doing quite well. Him and his wife do stuff with us as couples. We've been hanging out for around 20 years. His wife was going to take my wife on an all-expenses-paid trip to Chicago for my STBXW for her 40th. When I tell my buddy's wife about what a cheater my STBX is, that will be off for sure. Sorry, it's the little things in life. Also, a little random note. So, my STBX has her main email, then a secondary email for coupons. For all the internet deals, etc. This email I found was in her coupon email account. Just funny how she thought she was so smart. Also, not sure if I already said this, but she actually tried to accuse me of invading her privacy. I shut that down quick. I told her strange, every time I look, I find something. Well, I took today off again. My boss is being very understanding and supportive, which is great. Going to meet her for coffee in 45 minutes to talk logistics, living arrangements, and discuss how we will be telling the kids later today. I also told her that today I'll be notifying my family and friends about the impending divorce. She said, "Isn't that a bit personal?" To which I replied, "Well, they're going to need to know." She knows I'll be exposing her for the lying bee she is. Basically, this is her last chance at backing out and wanting to reconcile, which I know will not happen. For any chance of that to happen, a lot of things would need to happen. Full admission, Polly quit her job, beg for forgiveness, and essentially worship the ground I walk on for a long, long time. Here's the bottom line. She told me she doesn't want to be married. She told me she loves me but is not in love with me. She totally disrespected me by continuing talking, flirting, etc. There has been 3D days now. Whether or not it was actual sex isn't relevant. I'm done. It feels refreshing not to care what she's doing. I don't care anymore. It's not worth my energy. I need to move forward with my life. My therapist pointed out that I'm not at fault for trusting her. We basically have had no marriage for years. It's on. I'm going to contact lawyer soon. We just had our meeting about logistics. I'm going to be living at the house, she's going to be living at her mom's. The schedule is interesting but should work well. I know that people on this board are jaded, but I know that she will not try to screw me over in the divorce. Period. When my buddy got divorced, his ex really tried to screw him over, unsuccessfully, may I add. My wife said, "How can she be like that? I would never in a million years do that to you if we ever get divorced." She's here right now. I'm upstairs, she's downstairs, waiting for the kids to wake up, late sleepers in the summer. Then, when they're fully awake, we'll be telling them the news. It's going to be a conversation that they will remember for the rest of their lives. Very sad, but I'm going to be strong. Every single day I went to work, I'd think about her being at work with the OM, but I trusted her because she promised she would end contact. You realize how much suffering that was. 4 years. What an idiot I was. But again, our counselor provided our guidance. She didn't honor it, whatsoever. I really can't ever look back and say I didn't give my all. So I've researched the heck out of this whether or not to tell the kids topic. There is no right answer. I'd like to tell them and they will in turn resent her, at least for a period of time. She will go nuts in the divorce and try to screw me over. What about waiting until the divorce is finalized then telling them? Also, I'm considering playing the "if they ask, I'm going to tell them the truth" card. I'm also considering speaking with her about this topic and see if she, herself, is willing to own her affair. Too many options. So complicated. This also may change the whole way I want to tell them. Ultimately, this entire situation is a result of her actions and inability to communicate properly. I'm actually going to work today. In the past 2 days I've lost 6 pounds and have eaten about half a meal each day. We never did tell the kids yesterday because it didn't work out with timing. There was an emergency vehicle repair issue. We did, however, draw up a schedule, which is highly in my favor. I basically have the kids Sunday through Wednesday. I was just thinking, holy cow, is this for real? I get to live in the house, she still has to pay half the payment on it. She's in agreement due to the fact that she had destroyed the marriage and our family. It was strange, she wore her ring, I didn't. Haven't set up lawyer meeting yet and I know it's important. Been just trying to not break down and get my head straight. Went out with my friend who went through divorce 2 years ago. He was very inspiring, talking about my new life, new women, etc. I know I will grieve and mourn, even as bad as she's treated me. We've got a 23-year, deep history. Also, I dread telling the kids. The older one will be sad but will handle it. The younger one. When his 93-year-old great-grandpa died and we were driving home, he cried for an hour straight. I'm sure he's not going to take it well at all. It will break my heart, but I know that I need to be strong. The kids are my #1 priority than myself. She sent me a huge text, again claiming she is not in an affair but knows her choices were wrong. So, I'm done with work and at home. The STBX took the day off and now has my younger son at the water park. She had time to reflect on what we drew up for a plan. Also, she's very concerned about me possibly telling the kids. She basically told me that she has some things she could tell the kids as well. I believe she is speaking about marijuana, which I occasionally partake in, at night only, never around the kids, and she knows this and that I am a stellar father. What can I say? I'm a musician. Frankly, I 100% believe that it's much safer than drinking, but that's going on a big tangent. Her new thing is she shouldn't have to pay half the house payment when she isn't living here. However, her mom lives 5 minutes away and there is plenty of room. Her proposals are just messed up entirely. We both live in this house every other week. On the off weeks, apparently, I'm a homeless vagabond. I told her this will not work. Then she said something like we could rent a small apartment and both live in both places, switching off. Whoa, this is really messed up. I contacted a lawyer and left a message. She called me back and left me a message. It's a friend's sister, which is great in my book. I called her back, phone tagged to set up an appointment. As everyone has stated numerous times, that's the next obvious step. Oh yeah, she also started banter, which I couldn't resist responding to. She must be on crack. She said she's been working on her communication skills and wishes she just would have told me about her friendship. OMG, I blew that up so quick. I told her, are you kidding me? How on earth would you think it would be okay with me for you to be friends with him? That was my one wish in the entire world, that you had NC with him, and you were well aware of that. I also pointed out that friends don't say that it was tough trying not to kiss you today. She agreed. I seriously need to question her intelligence after all these years. I want this thing to go smoothly for the kids' sake, but if she wants to get nasty, I could easily keep that ace up the sleeve about emailing their HR department. Anyhow, it's been yet another crazy day. Can't wait to talk to the lawyer. I feel pretty in control, surprisingly. She will submit to what I ask her to. If she doesn't, I'll have to threaten her with the HR thing. Boom. Shut down, big time. One day, she'll realize what she threw away and treated like trash. I'm unsuccessfully trying to resist the urge to put my pie hat back on. Today at work, I looked at my saved emails from April 18, 2014, and lo and behold, she was going to happy hour with X. She named the people but didn't include his name. The timing was at like 5. It all makes sense. He was obviously there. She is such a liar. The other day she said, I purposely avoided if he goes. What a load of BS. I want to hack everything now. That's something that really sucks. I was never like this before this whole affair crap. I just need to let go and not waste energy on it. My energy is precious these days, with the lack of sleep and food. Yeah, I know I need to take care of myself, but my mind is racing all the time. But back to the contacting HR thing, I also have her boss email added. That would certainly suck if I emailed HR and forwarded it out. Again, ace up the sleeve, nuclear option, only to be used if needed. My wife and I have agreed to have a talk to determine if we are 100% positive we want to proceed. She is well aware that I take zero responsibility for her actions and that I do accept half responsibility for our marriage problems. For some reason, she cannot be 100% open with me. If she could communicate better, she could tell me what she likes and what she doesn't like. For example, we read 5 languages of love back in 2011, when the initial emotional affair was discovered. Her languages are acts of service and words of affirmation. So here I am, cleaning the house, taking care of outside maintenance, upkeep, all this sort of thing. Well, it turns out that's not what she wanted. She wanted me to step up a little more with the kids and planning their stuff, appointments, going to friends, various things. I am not a mind reader. I was trying my best. She needs to tell me these things. For some reason, she can't or won't, and I don't know why. But she is, and I see working on that, so she says. In the last 6 months, her love for me has dropped significantly. She admitted she's not trying as hard as she used to. I don't know why. She is aware that I have little trust in her, if any. She still contends that she never cheated on me. I assume she means physically. She said she doesn't feel safe talking to me, although I have never once even come close to laying a finger on her, and she knows this and would fully agree. She's not talking about physically safe. I don't know how I could be more emotionally safe to talk to. All I know is that communication solves about 95% of the problems in any relationship. All that said, I am fully prepared to leave her and will be meeting with my potential lawyer next week. My counselor even advised me of this. People on this forum may not like how I'm moving on this, but it's my life and my situation. There is a definite line in the sand that there is no turning back from. I would rather go slow and steady than jump. One very annoying thing is that my wife insults my intelligence in regard to this recent discovery. She says, he doesn't know my number, but unless he's a complete moron, I don't know how that's possible. I have proof from back in 11 that they texted hundreds of times. She hasn't changed her number. Additionally, who cares? They clearly can email on her secret coupon email account lol, talk at work, etc. I've said on a couple occasions, where there's a will, there's a way. I keep thinking of things to say, as this entire thread has been scattered. If we were to try to continue with our marriage, one condition would be that they cannot work at the same place, period. She has been proven to be untrustworthy on multiple occasions. We would obviously need MC, big time. It wouldn't be easy. It would be a lot of work, but we have a lot invested in each other. She knows this. She knows I'm a good man and has said numerous times that I'm a great dad. If she is willing to try, can fully admit what she's done and take ownership for it, and is willing to do the heavy lifting, I certainly don't rule out staying married to her. I need to clarify this. If more were to come out of the admission part, there could be no way, depending on what it was. If she admitted they has anything physical, I'm out. Again, there has been a lot of damage, so it would take a lot. But is it worth it to save a family? Hell yes. Is she willing to do the work? I doubt it. Will the divorce be horrible and ugly? Yes. Will we all survive? Yes. Will there be major lifestyle changes? Yes. Well, she can clearly lie to me, so the answer to that is unknown. She has admitted to lying and being deceptive, and she understands my perspective when I said you were well aware that you weren't permitted to talk to him anymore. We went through this in MC. So, by you doing this, I perceive that to mean you value your relationship with him higher than our marriage. She said she understands what I am saying. It's just like she was in the emotional affair fog. She got a rush off the attention. It's like a gambling addiction. You know it's wrong, but you keep doing it. She clearly likes the attention he gives her. She admitted to flirting with him upon confrontation after finding the text. My wife isn't a tease, which leads me to think that if that's the case, wonder why this dude would pursue her for 7 years while getting nothing out of it. Then she has to say right to my face, multiple times, I would never cheat on you. See why my head is spinning. She said 100% no. Could she be lying? Yes. Could she be telling the truth? Yes. So frustrating. Again, believe me, I'm still saying there is a damn good chance that it's over and we're going to give an all-out war in divorce. It really depends on what she's willing to do to repair the damage she has caused me. I'd say we're at 90% chance of divorce right at this moment. My younger boy definitely is on to something not being right. The older one is always at friends' houses, so I don't know if he is aware. She came home just to sleep last night, crashed in the guest bedroom, where my clothes are at. She takes up the entire closet in the master bedroom. Sometimes, she has to work on Saturdays, and today is one of those days. She left her ring out where she knew I'd see it. She's trying to play mind games with me, clearly. Granted, when we met for coffee on Wednesday, she had her son and I didn't. But I have to be honest, it's working. Her leaving her ring out has affected me. Need to stop that right now and get a grip. The strange thing is that he apparently has lots of issues. Alcoholic. Every GF he gets dumps him, etc. He is probably willing to have a relationship with her, but I'm guessing it won't last long. I am hurting today big time. She just came home and took the youngest to a pool since it is so damn hot out. He was like, "Why aren't you coming, Dad?" She is being super mean. It is looking like zero chance of reconciliation, which is expected. I just want to know for sure before I blow this up with my family, our friends and her family. Need to finish yard work and then got to work out or something. I know I need to stay strong, but at the end of the day, I'm very sad. Grieving the loss of a person that has been special to me since I was 16. I know some of the jaded people will reply with, she wasn't sad when she was doing this with and they're right in saying that. I just feel like crying in the fetal position right now. Well, we talked this morning. Bottom line, we're done, which was expected. She still says she is not having an affair. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't, I'll never know, and it doesn't really matter. She is asking me to find a place since she's the primary caregiver to the kids. I got to be honest, that is true. She preps dinner, gets home earlier from work, is a little more involved with their homework, etc. I'm a great father, she even said that. But, through time, she has been more of a caretaker than I am. I called my parents, which felt good. I'm sure my mom is crying as I type this. They were shocked but loving and supportive. My mom says she's most worried about my older son. He internalizes things. Anyhow, it kind of feels relieving to not have to worry about if she's talking to But I am sad that my kids have to go through this. I think that the summary is that ever since D-Day on August 3, 2011, our marriage never was the same. I lost trust in her. That lack of trust was bottled up, changing who I was. It's a sad story and it's not over, but today is one of the defining days of my life. I haven't shed a tear though, trying to stay strong. Also, I just FB messaged and said stay the hell away from my wife, you slimy piece of garbage. I'm strongly considering contacting HR, felt good. I just checked on my FB Messenger but he blocked me. Surprise, surprise. She's totally acting like there is no affair and all the problems are with me. Go figure. Yes, I admit I haven't been the perfect husband, but I take no responsibility for her affair. And no matter what, it's at minimum an that is indisputable. The email I found sure makes it sound like it was. It's physical. I'm really curious what she's telling her family, as they all love me. It's kind of bothersome that when we talked about living arrangements, when I was saying we couldn't afford it and I'd be breaking, she said, "How is that my problem?" So, it's almost like let's just go nuclear right now, but the unfortunate part is the kids suffer. We shall see how this pans out. I'm not leaving. Screw that. I can step up my caretaker role no problem and she know it. This whole thing just sucks. Having trouble focusing on work. Might try to get short-term disability for a couple weeks to be with my family. Need to lick my wounds and try to get my head on straight. I keep reminding myself that she's a deceptive liar and that she's not worth my love. The kid situation is killing me. They're definitely aware something's not right. So weird not having contact with my wife. I'm sure OM told her about my FB message. Maybe she's afraid now, or thinking if you do that, I'm going nuclear on you, not sure. We've been emailing. She claims that I've been acting like a child for years and she's not going to live like this anymore. Minimizing the affair, no doubt. Whatever, I just want to be done with this and on to the next chapter of my life. Unfortunately, I'm afraid it's going to be a while. As odd as it sounds, I still damn near believe her that it didn't get physical. I know it sounds weak and odd, but I just feel that it may be true. I know what you're all thinking. And crazy, it's been going on for too long, etc. But I do know she's quite insecure about parts of her body after having kids, particularly her chest. Then, the flip side of that coin says she will just never admit it and take it to her grave. Hard to say. Anyhow, right now I'm working on me. I'm doing it for me. 180, working out and focusing on the kids. Work is a struggle due to lack of focus, but I'm managing. My comment, I will never understand the argument against exposing or dishing out consequences because it is revenge. There is nothing wrong with vengeance. Maybe if crappy people had to face some serious and life-altering ramifications from the victims of their action, these scumbags might think twice before ever messing with someone else ever again. Too many passive people in this world. All turning the other cheek gets you is another smack in the face. Part 3 ending coming today as well. Sub and see if OP wakes up.